this isn't, it's the rotation is up here. It's not here, right? So somebody can't grab you, by your hand or something like that and try to rotate your elbow, because that's not going to work, right? I mean, it'll work, but not really work, okay? So anyway, when we get to the joints, just remember that some people go, no, look, it's rotating. No, it's not. Okay, it's flexing and extending. All right, so let's go to the carpal bones. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, yes. And here they are. These little guys, right here. I have 3 on my list for you guys to learn. You don't have to know them all. But here's the mnemonic. We love mnemonics. I didn't make this up. This is in the book. There you go. I didn't make it up. It's in the textbook. Scaphoid, lunate, triquetrum, pisiform, trapezium, trapezoid, capitate, and hemi. The 3 that I like you guys to be able to find of the carpal bones, and I test on, are the scaphoid and the lunate. Because the scaphoid and the lunate, I think, really, this hand's kind of beat up, way beat up, really kind of participate with the radius and formation of the bones up here. You'll get a better hand than this, I'm sure. And again, our skeletal hands that haven't been all beat up or easy to see. But the scaphoid and the lunate are good ones because they do participate in the formation of the wrist joint. The other one is this little guy here, the positions bone, pisiform bone, which on this one, on some of our hands, it's missing. But it looks like it's a rough bone which is broken off of another bone, but in fact it sort of sits right on top of another carpal bone. But it is a separate bone. It's the pisiform bone. So look at the carpal bones. They're your wrist bones. And sometimes and these are referred to as, I talked this about the other night, even though they may not look like it now, are sort of the box-shaped bones. The bones in the wrist they are joints. There's a wrist joint. These bones actually do move across one another. And sometimes when your kids break their wrist or something like that, what happens is one or more of the carpal bones can be fractured. It's a pretty common thing when kids fall, they can break their wrist or something like that. So we're talking about it here. Now, since we're vaguely sort of talking about joints tonight, this is worth mentioning, I guess, because you think, okay, this is a hinge joint, and this is a hinge joint. So this is a hinge joint. But in fact, it's not a hinge joint, because your wrist can do more than just flex and extend, which is the only thing hinges can do. But see, I'm trying to hold this part of my hand steady. But you can also do this at your wrist joint. You get these terms next Tuesday. You can also abduct, which means move towards the midline of the body. No, I'm sorry, adduct, which means more towards the midline, or abduct, and say I don't abduct very well, which means move away, right? So you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. But you can also do, you can also do this. Well, pronate, supinate, that's something different, but that's really radius and ulna. But you can also do this, which is called circumduct, right? So you can do a lot of stuff here. Now,
very nice.
This joint, so I'm trying to isolate this one. These guys, these are hinge joints, but this is a different one. We'll talk about in just a second. Like, when you're doing this, you're hinging, but you can do lots of stuff with this one as well. So, anyway, so the carpal bones, you need to know them. And that's the mnemonic that people have invented for. It's in the book. It's the famous one. Everybody knows this one. So there's the carpal bones, and here's the picture of them. I say, here's the picture of them. Yeah, there we go. So you can see that here's the radius, the distal radius. Here's the lunate. Here's the scaphoid. Here's the radius. And so those 2 bones really do participate in sort of the formation of that joint. And the pisiform bone here is a little bone, you kind of feel it in your wrist, which sits on top of the triquetrum. And the rest of them we're not going to worry so much about. But, from a medical point of view, boy, these are ones that often, give you trouble, and, kids break them and all that sort of stuff. So those are the wrist bones, those are the carpal bones. The last 2 bones in the hand are the metacarpals, not metatarsals, that's your foot, metacarpals and phalanges. Now, the metacarpals, you can just barely see them on here, and I'll use this picture for just a second. These bones right here, which are the bones, these are your phalanges, but these bones in your wrist, those are the metacarpals, and you can see they articulate right along this line with the carpal bones. But they're numbered 1 through 5. You'll see the sequential numbering on Roman numerals again, 1 through 5, starting with your thumb and going across your hand in this direction. So, the metacarpals and the phalanges. Or another one? Yeah, oh, maybe one, oops, I'm sorry. There you go. So, metacarpals are number 1 through 5. Here, I got a hand, I'll show you. Okay. So, I'm pretty sure, just looking at this hand, that this is the thumb. Okay. So, this bone, or maybe it's not, wait a second. That's a weird looking hand, hang on. Oh, yes, it's not. What was I thinking? Okay, so this is metacarpal number 1, and this is number 2, 3, 4, and 5. So those are so they start here and just go across like that. So those are the metacarpals. They're the bones in here. And then the phalanges, which are your fingers. Now, all the fingers have proximal, middle, and distal components, except for the thumb, which just has, say it there, just has a proximal and distal. All right, so check this out now. If this hand hasn't been put back together surgically. All righty, so this is the thumb. I'm holding on to the first metacarpal, which means this little bone right here is the proximal phalange. And because this is a thumb, this is the distal. All right, now let's do your index finger. All right, so this is number 2 metacarpal, proximal, middle, distal. Right? Even the little finger has got proximal, middle, and distal. Just the thumb, this guy here, it's just got 2. So let's see the picture.
If we wanted to talk about the specific proximal phalange of the index finger, would it be like proximal phalange 2 or something like that?
Okay, yeah, you know what? Let's do that. So, okay, let me get my hand here again. Okay, so this is the second metacarpal, which means like, okay, name this bone, be specific. Okay, name this bone, be specific. Well, let's see. It's proximal phalange number 2. Exactly. Yeah. Where's my picture go? There we go. So, yeah, so you see how it works. I'm telling you, I got ultimate respect for, well, I got respect for any kind of a surgeon or doctors for that matter, but hand surgeons, foot surgeons, man, this is such a complicated area of the body. I mean, when you see a cadaver dissection of a hand, you look at it and go, holy smoke.